समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So today we do verse 25th. Last time we had done Uttarayan, and I had told you that there are two paths, Uttarayan and Dakshinayan, which the Geeta says, and both paths are evolving paths, but one is a slower path, the other is a fast lane. So here now we come to the slower one. धूमो रात्रिस्तथा कृष्णः षण्मासा दक्षिणायनं तत्र चान्द्रमसं ज्योतिर्योगी प्राप्य निवर्तते. It says smoke, night time, the dark fortnight, also the 6 months of the southern solstice, attaining by these to the moon, the lunar light, the yogi returns. Now, the two paths that he was giving were one in which there is no return, and the other one in which you take a rebirth. You come back and take a rebirth. Now, this is the path which is also called Dakshinayanam. It is also called the Pitrupaksh or the Pitruyan. So, here is the Pitruyan. It says smoke, nighttime, dark fortnight, and the 6 months of the southern solstice. Now, notice that these are all dark images. So, this is the path of darkness. It is not the path of knowledge. As we saw over there in the Uttarayan, it was all light images representing knowledge, the path of knowledge, the path of a jnani. And here, these are all dark images. So, see smoke, night time, the dark fortnight of the moon, and the 6 months of the southern solstice. That means when the sun goes south. Attaining by these to the moon, that is the lunar light, the yogi returns. Now, what do these images mean actually? These are just images representing something, right? Now, here, because he is talking of evolution and devolution, so it cannot be time bound with this light and darkness. These are images representing ignorance and knowledge. Now, over here it says, now see, earth, Dakshinayanam, it says that the earth energies from the south are always considered as inauspicious. You will notice that one doesn't pray with the face turned to the south. Many people do not face the south when they do any auspicious act. किसी का तिलक करना है, आरती करनी है, कोई पूजा हवन होता है उसमें, so they do not face the south. So it is considered inauspicious, and that is why Dakshinayanam. Also, people say that you should not sleep with your feet towards the south, because then you आप दक्षिणायन जा रहे हैं. That means you are going towards darkness. So they don't allow that. They say you should sleep with your feet towards the north, or the, like that. So it is going northward. Energies from the south are hard hitting also. I mean, these are only, I don't know, I've only heard these things. I cannot vouch for them scientifically, but there are things like the earth's energies when the earth is revolving around the sun and all. People explain them. They say that the skull is a hard bone. So hard kind of energies coming from here, they can still be warded off. So you sleep with your head towards the south. whereas the soles of the feet are thin, and north energies are positive energies, so the souls can absorb those energies. So when you sleep in these given directions, I believe the energies suit you. Now the moon, see, moon is a, here he says the waning moon. Now the waning moon is a dark fortnight. Okay. Now here, what happens in darkness? You know, all the negative things happen at night. Theft, murder, animals of prey come out at night, right? And all kind of crimes happen at night. All those who prey on others, like scorpions, bats, snakes, this, that, they all come hunting animals, venture out at night for their prey, and they because it is easy to catch the sleeping prey. So all that. So all these images only are images of ignorance as against knowledge. Now, attaining by these to the moon, heaven, or lunar light, the yogi returns. Now, the moon and the, see, moon का क्या है? देखो, moon and मन, जो हिंदी word है मन, they are similar sounding. Can you see the phonetic similarity between man and moon? The mind is affected by the moon. It is a scientific fact. They say that the moon, when it is full up in the sky, most of the criminals act criminally. They are inspired to act criminally. Emotions are high on a moonlit night. Haven't you seen all kind of songs of moonlight and all the lovers sing? So moon generates sensuality. Moon pulls up the waters in the body. Moon pulls up the waters in the sea. There is a tide, high tide in the sea when the moon is strong. So all those things are there scientifically. But here he says moon is the presiding deity of matter, and the sun is the presiding deity of energy, according to the Prashnopanishad. Prashnopanishad में ये आता है. But both these, the moon as well as the sun, belong to the world of matter. Also, Vedanta believes that even subtle things which relate to the body, like thoughts, emotions, the form and the formless, are all matter. Your imagination, आपकी कल्पना शक्ति, ideas, feelings, emotions, thoughts, they are all matter and belong to the world of the moon. So the Prashnopanishad, they see, nothing can exist without prana, nothing can exist without a life force, even thoughts don't exist, ideas don't exist. A dead Einstein, can he give out one single beautiful intellectual idea? No. So, thoughts and intellect, emotions, everything is matter. That is what Vedanta considers. So, playing through matter, when the life force plays through matter, it creates form, it creates illusion, it creates shape, name, visibility. I had given you the example of a sunlight, not sunlight, sunbeam coming into a dark room. Okay. Now, passing sunlight and the dust particles passing through sunlight create an image of a sunbeam. Sunbeam is a form. You give it the name of a sunbeam, but it is illusory, because even the light of the sun, you cannot see clear light. Pure light is not visible. Pure light can only be visible when it is reflected by any surface. Okay, so it is a play of matter energy like you find in the science labs. But all this comes into the world of matter according to Vedanta. Okay, so moon rules the world of matter, the world of the flesh, the world of sensual pleasures. So when he says that uh, dakshanayam tatra chandramasam jyotir yogi prapanivarti, that means the yogi goes to the world of the moon. When he says that, it only means that any human being who does upasanas, good deeds, and the performer of rituals, he does rise. He does rise, but he rises to the worlds which are known as heaven. Moon is a seat of sensual pleasures. So the such a human being who is a good deed doer, punyatma, हाँ, रिचुअल्स करता है, गुड डीड्स करता है, दान पुण्य सब करता है, ही उसको क्रम मुक्ति मिलती है. ही स्लोली स्लोली गोज टू वर्ल्ड्स हायर which are full of pleasure, and he enjoys those pleasures in the heaven. They are known as heaven. The world of the moon is known as the heavenly world. So they go there, and over there, enjoying beautiful life, enjoying a very nice, pleasurely life. He returns after heavenly enjoyments. He returns. So there are many heaven is not a geographical place, as I told you. So even in this world, when he comes back, he has to enjoy the result of his punyas. So he is born in a rich family, lot of comfort, lot of pleasure, lot of joy, good health, this, that, and the other. That is a punyatma. But if in that life his acts are ignoble, he acts selfishly, then he devolves. He does not evolve, and he devolves. So the next life when he gets, he has to either come back and do his tapas, do his austerities, do his meditation, and rise up. But if he doesn't do all that, then he comes down and he comes back. Okay, this stanza is telling you very clearly that he this is an opportunity he gets to either make himself rise or make himself fall, either to make himself or undo himself. Now, Gurudev used to say that such people, if they fall into sensuality, the trap of sensuality, because sensual pleasures keep pulling you, you are the flesh, obviously, they pull you. So, when you fall a prey to them, then he used to say that supposing you are very fond of just eating and sleeping, the Gurudev used to say, you will go into the womb of Mother Pig. Your next birth will be Mother Pig. Similarly, it depends on your vasanas, it depends on your desires. You get the same form and the same environment to exhaust your desires as you wish. So don't blame the Lord. You have asked for it, you have desired it, or you have deserved it, and you will get that kind of birth. Next verse. शुक्ल कृष्णे गति हेते जगत शाश्वते मते एक या यात्यनावृत्तिम अन्यया वर्तते पुनः. It says the path of light and the path of darkness available for the world are verily thought to be both eternal. Shashvate, Shashvat is eternal, ever present, always there for people to follow. Both these paths are eternal, he says. By the one, the path of light, a man goes to return not, and by the other, the path of darkness, he returns again. I have already told you this. This is also mentioned in the previous stanza. Here also, there is a repetition. Previously, in my talks, I have told you that the scriptures generally do not repeat, but if they repeat, as this stanza is a repeat, they are underlining it. They are making you sit up and see that, yes, this is like this. Now, these two paths are always there. These forces, one that pulls you in the direction of your desires and fleshy pleasures, the other one that takes you to a higher ways of living and a higher realm. So these two forces have always been there. Some of you may have read the book Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde when you were growing up. There are two personalities in every human being. Believe me, in every human being, you cannot deny it. Sometimes you act and do things which you later regret so much, and you say, how could I? Why did I? That was hardly a thing to do. Why did I do it? That is Mr. Hyde. And Dr. Jekyll, a do gooder, noble person, trying to rise in life, trying to perfect himself, trying to help others selflessly, that is the other personality. And always these two personalities keep pulling. There is a tug of war between these two all the time. Huh? Now, uh, the path of light, this enables you to reach the spring of bliss. It slowly uplifts you. If you keep going on the path of light, which is knowledge, it will slowly reach you to the abode of permanent bliss from which there is no return. Huh? So Gurudev has translated this as two paths, as with Shashvat, I've told you, always eternal, they're always there. One is the secular path, and the other one is the sacred path. The sacred path is the path of light. The secular one is the path of sensual pleasures. Now, Gurudev used to say that a serious meditator, when he is meditating, his mind will not oscillate between these two paths. His mind will be fixed. But even if it oscillates sometimes and comes back to these sensual pleasures, don't worry. Gurudev used to say, don't worry, it is natural, it happens. Just smile. That he used to say, I'm using his words, smile at the vulgarities of your own mind. So from where all kind of horrible thoughts come in, which in your on your conscious everyday living you don't even think like that, but during your meditation from some subconscious mind, thoughts are thrown up which are not very nice also. Hmm? So just look at them as a sakshi, smile at them, and let them pass. Let them pass. Watch them as somebody else watching something else. Watch your mind, and watch your mind let those thoughts go. Hmm? So you know, most of the people think that just sensual pleasures, if I get, that is all I need in life. A good house, a good car, good clothes, jewelry, good family, good food, good this, good that, that is all. So their minds are dull enough to accept that as the life's best. Whereas the other people who are on the other path, people who are on the sacred path, they want something higher, something nobler, something deeper, something much more elevated than the normal humdrum life of sensual joys. And so they cannot rest. They keep on striving. They want to raise themselves higher. They do not want this superficial life, khalia pilia soliye, and like that, which the general lot of people do. They are not happy with that. They always feel that something is lacking in my life, because all these things, all these pleasures have an end, and he doesn't want that. He wants a permanent bliss, a higher bliss, which is not dependent on these pleasures. So these two paths, as he says, are Shashwat. Shashwat means that they have always been and they always will be. So then he says, then what is the end of it? What is the solution? If these paths are always going to be there and both these personalities are going to be there in me, what is the remedy then? So here Gurudev says that you have the Vedantic theory, he says, is based on the experience of rishis, munis, saints of yore over the centuries who have said that there is a way out. And the path of knowledge is the way out. If you take this path and you are a serious seeker, you will face hurdles, sure you will, but slowly, slowly you will go up higher and higher. And this coming and going in the world of birth and death will be ended. Now, there is a very interesting warning. If you got the book with you, then you can read it in the commentary that Gurudev has given. And this is a very, very important part of this stanza. Of this verse. It says that even a mature sadhak, even a seeker who has been practicing meditation for years, and he thinks, such a sadhak thinks that nothing can pull him down. Don't be too sure. This is a warning here. Never, never, no matter how many years of sadhana you have done, till you realize, never be sure that you cannot be pulled down. Great rishis and munis who were seekers of a very high standard, almost at the door, even they tend to fall because of some hidden residue of a vasana, that when he finds the conducive atmosphere, he is pulled down. Even sannyasis, big sannyasis, a sannyasi does the last rites of his body himself, he performs. That means he is no more to consider himself as the body. Even he goes into the trap of old hidden vasanas. So Gurudev is giving a big, big warning, and he says that such people are helplessly pulled into extroversion. That is the word Gurudev has used. That means they go for sensuous pleasures completely, leaving their sadhana. But he says that you need not despair. This is very, very important. Gurudev has said that you need not despair at all. Just like in riding a horse or riding a cycle or something you must have learned, you fall, but you get back onto the cycle and try learning again. So again you take up, and don't worry about this tug of war inside you, but keep functioning. And see, everybody's vasanas are different. Somebody is pulled towards something, somebody is pulled towards something. But because that desire is there, that strong desire is there, you will be pulled. Despite your sadhana, you will be pulled. So now we do the verse 27. Naite sriti partha janan yogi muhyati kaschana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavarjuna. It says, just 1 minute, I'll read it. It says, knowing these two paths, O Partha, no yogi is deluded. Therefore, at all times be steadfast in yoga, O Krishna. This is now the advice of the master, that is Krishna over here. He says this is the advice, that knowing that these two things will pull your bosom all the time, mostly it will pull your bosom. He says, oh, look at them as an observer, look at them as a knower, that these two things, it is the mind playing tricks, but at all times understand the truth. He says, be a yogi. Be a yogi means the knowledge that your teacher has given you, be with that knowledge, connected with that. Yogi means connected. Be with that, connected with that knowledge at all times. No matter what tricks your mind plays on you, connect yourself with this knowledge. Old deep seated vasanas will rise up, I gave you the example of a pond where from the bottom of the pond there is dirt. So, unless the pond is spot clean, at the bottom of the pond there will always be dirt. So, also your subconscious mind. And in that subconscious mind, there will be some vasana lurking somewhere. When it sees a conducive atmosphere, the vasana will rise up, plop on the surface of the lake or of the pond, and then it will cause disturbances on the calm surface of the water. So this is what happens to a sadhak mostly. So the thing is, just smile at the mischievousness of the mind, the tricks of the mind, and how he tries to pull you outward. Just smile, don't despair, look at it from a distance. Like from your balcony, you are watching a rowdy crowd outside on the lane shouting and screaming or destroying or burning buses or something. But from the balcony of your house, you are watching. You are not affected. Same way, when your mind plays tricks, watch it. Connect yourself with the true knowledge, connect yourself with the one reality, and watch this. That is a true yogi. So, uh, even while the advice over here to Arjun is that don't despair, keep acting in the world outside, always do selfless acts, and identify with the eternal, the indestructible truth. Hmm? Acha, now the question that the student asks, the last question student asks in this chapter is, by mere meditation, how will we gain the specific merits that are promised by the Shruti and the Smriti when we follow certain noble actions in life? Now, the Shruti and the Smriti are guidelines for you to act nobly and also promise rewards. They always have phalashrutis. Phalashruti is a line telling you that if you do this, this will be the reward. So the student would like to know that, aren't good actions good enough? If you're just performing good actions, why should you keep meditating? Good actions say you will get a result. That means a good result. But with meditation, what will you get? Meditation doesn't promise these kind of good results or the results of punyas. Hmm? So, what should I do in my life? Now, the last verse over here. वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम् अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम्. The teacher changes the meter of the verse because he wants the student to listen to this last verse very, very carefully. And the translation of this verse is, whatever fruit of merit is declared in the scriptures, in the smritis, and in the, what does he say? In the smritis and the shastras, he says that springing up from the study of Vedas, from the performance of sacrifices, from the practice of austerities, and from charity. Dan also is part of this. Charity. Beyond all these goes the yogi. Carefully. Beyond all the results of all these good actions, tapas, sacrifices, learning the Vedas, the practice of austerities, and danam. The yogi goes beyond the results of all these. That means he gets a much higher result than these punyas will ever give. Beyond all these goes the yogi. Who is the yogi? The one who is trying to connect the jiva to the param purush, the jiva to the paramatma. So, who having known this, the two paths, attains the supreme primeval essence. The primeval means the original, the one without a cause, the ultimate cause of all beings, the life principle. He connects with that, and that is much higher than any of these phalashrutis that are promised by the scriptures. The scriptures prescribe all kind of sacred activity, as we have done seen over here. He names them: tap, दान, punya, Vedon ka gyan, yagya. All these is listed in the first line of this verse. The yogi goes beyond the phala of these. Now, in the scriptures, many a times, rishis have given exaggerated promises of the results of doing this. Just like you say to a child, बच्चे को आप कहते हैं ना, do your homework, then you can go for the movie. You've already given him a lollipop, right? And so the child does what is beneficial for him because he has the promise of something. So these phalashrutis are like that only. They, in an exaggerated language, they promise, of course, you will get results, you will get punyas with all these, but they promise exaggerated punyas so that you are pulled towards doing what is good for you, what will uplift you, what will take you higher, and that is the. Now, Krishna also remembers that this Pandav prince has been educated in the Vedas. He knows the Shrutis, he knows, because that was part of royal education. The Veda teaching, the yoga teaching, and all kind of other things from Smritis and Shrutis, and what should be done, what should not be done, Raj Yoga, Karma Yoga, all this was taught to the princes as a part of their princely training. And Krishna knows this. So Arjuna knows all that. But he is trying to tell Arjuna that what will be. See, karma and upasana are great helps in meditation. Sure, they are. When you do these things like dan, punya, tapa, yajna, and all, these do help in the purification of the mind. They make you meditation worthy. That's true. But that is all. That is where they leave you. After that, you to rise up higher, you need more muscle. You need more spiritual muscle to go higher than that, right? So antakaran shuddhi hoti hai. The antakaran shuddhi means purity of the mind, intellect, equipment. So then antakaran is man, buddhi, chitta and ahankar. These four things constitute the antakaran. Now, antakaran shuddhi means the purity of all these, the mainly the purity of your mind and intellect. And mind and intellect are the ones that make the chitta and the individuality, the ego, ahankar. तो ये भी सब प्योरीफाई होते हैं definitely by all these actions, but to go higher, as I said, you need more muscle. Now, see, one of the very good things that he has said this, emphatically he says this, that the yogi rises above all these. So be a yogi. Krishna advises Arjun that no matter that you are into the world, you are fighting your battles, your everyday battles, your social battles, your money battles, your job battles, your family battles, or whatever it is, you are fighting battles. Every one of us. There is a Mahabharata everywhere. But in that Mahabharata, be an Arjun who will shoot all the time at all the negative things, but keeping his balance and equipoise. And then you will be able to rise more quickly, more easily. So the Chandrayaan path is a slower path, slow action path, and this path is a fast track path, as I told you. And definitely, with all these, your vivek and vairagya will increase more and more. The more meditation you do, the more sharp your discrimination becomes. Your vairagya becomes sharper. You do not see the meaning in the trivialities of life, in the toys of life. So you throw them away yourself. You don't want them. And even if they are lost, even if you lose a toy, this is a message from the Lord that this toy is valueless. Go for a higher one. Look for a higher one, which will give you total bliss. These will only give you happiness for a short while, not even happiness, pleasure. And then they will give you sorrow. When they depart, they'll give you sorrow. So don't identify with them. Don't identify with them. All the toys that you have, house, wealth, your car, your jewelry, your status, your this or that, they all belong to the world of matter, and they can only give you what matter gives you. Beyond that, they cannot give you anything. And so, when you grow in meditation, you pursue meditation regularly at the same time and intensely with deep devotion, pulling yourself, withdrawing yourself from the world of matter and aligning yourself with the Supreme, then slowly, slowly, I have told you that two things increase. Vivek increases, that is discrimination, and Vairagya increases, detachment from the world of the path of moon. You see it as meaningless. You see it as useless. You see it as not giving you any utility. There is no utility you have for that. So, just like you give away marbles to the child, beautiful marbles, lovely colors, the child is delighted. Give it away, give it away. It is of no use to you. So, when thus the meditator meditates, then he goes to the supreme abode. He goes to the higher abode. Abode is only a state, it is not a house, it is not a palace home, it is not heaven. The supreme abode is a state into which he elevates himself. Now, the end of the chapter. Om Tatsadiति Srimad Bhagavad Geetasu Upanishastu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Akshara Brahma Yogo Namastamodhyayah. So the eighth adhyay, eighth chapter, called the Akshara Brahma Yoga, ends over here. And this Akshara Brahma Yoga is the yoga of the indestructible Brahma, the indestructible supreme power. That is what it is saying here. And the yoga of the imperishable Brahma Gurudev writes that it is understood as the way to the imperishable Brahma. So he has given you the guidelines of how to proceed on this path of knowledge. You have to imbibe it, you have to make it your own, and you have to go in that one given direction with full surrender, with full faith and devotion, and you will reach. That is the promise of the Lord here. So that ends this chapter, and we will take up chapter 9 in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.